He called me wanting to know whether or not he had a valid medical malpractice case. One of the first questions I asked him was, when did this matter happen? And the moment he told me, I knew immediately that I wouldn't be able to help him. You want to know what he said in response and how angry and upset he got because I wouldn't listen to anything he had to say? Come join me for a moment as I share with you this great information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. So now, he called me on the telephone. He wanted to know whether or not he had a valid medical malpractice case. He wanted to bring a lawsuit against the doctor who treated him, as well as hospital staff. So the first question I asked him was, did this happen to you or a family member? He said, no, it happened to me. I said, okay, when did this happen? And he started to go on, give me a whole big timeline. I said, no, when did the wrongdoing happen? He said, oh, it happened in 2003. I said, stop right there. I said, I can't help you. He said, what do you mean you can't help me? But I just found out about this problem. I just found out that all these things stem from the wrongdoing that happened in 2003. I said, that's the problem. The problem is your time to file a lawsuit is long, long gone by many, many, many years. Now this is 2017. Typically, you have only 2.5 years from the date of any wrongdoing in which to bring a lawsuit against a private doctor or private hospital staff. That's it, 2.5 years. He said, but what about this thing called continuous treatment? I said, okay, let me ask you a question. You told me the wrongdoing happened in 2003. Did you continue to see and treat with that doctor for the entire duration, for the 15, 14 years up until today? He said, no, of course not. I said, when did you last see that doctor who caused you harm in 2003? He said, oh, 2004. I said, stop right there. He said, what do you mean? I can still bring a lawsuit because I only found out about it now. I said, no, you can't. He could not understand that. He could not get that through his mind, and he was getting angrier and angrier. I kept having to stop him. He wanted to tell me all the details of everything that was done wrong to him. I said, I'm sorry, but no matter what you tell me, I can't help you. Now, I knew immediately that no attorney in New York would be able to help this guy. But I have an obligation to tell him, listen, my suggestion is pick up the phone, try and call another attorney. Maybe they'll give you a different opinion. But from what little you're telling me today on the phone in just a few moments, I can tell you right now that your time limit is long gone. And it doesn't matter what happened to you once that time limit has lapsed. So why do I share this quick information with you? I share this story with you just to give you an inside look at a gentleman who wanted to find out whether or not he had a valid case. For all I know, he may have had an underlying valid meritorious case. But if you don't bring it within the defined time limits that the court and the law requires, it doesn't matter what happened to you. So unfortunately for this gentleman, I would not be able to help him. And I highly doubt anybody else in New York will as well. You know, I recognize you've got questions or concerns about your own matter. In all likelihood, you want to find out whether your matter is actually timely. Well, I have to tell you something, and I have to give you this big warning. You cannot, under any circumstance, rely on information you find online, rely on something you may read about the time limits concerning your particular matter. You want to know why not? It's because those time limits change. And by the time you see this video, by the time you read an article online, by the time you read something in a newspaper, the time limit in which you have to file your lawsuit may have changed. And that happens from time to time. So the only real way to know whether or not your matter is timely is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. I can help you understand whether or not your matter still is timely. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, G-E-R-R-Y, @oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a great day.